Enugu state capital and Owerri, its Imo State counterpart, were quiet on Friday as residents compelled with a sit-at-home order imposed by the Indigenous People of Biafra and the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra to mark 2025 Biafra Day. IPOB has for years been directing residents to stay indoors every May 30 in honor of Biafra's fallen heroes, a directive that continued this year. Our correspondent who monitored the situation across the Enugu metropolis observes that government offices, banks, shops, schools, marketplaces, parks, shopping complexes, filling stations, and restaurants were all closed as the streets became deserted. Some residents who spoke on Saturday attributed the widespread complaints of fear of possible violence, although some said they used it to rest after busy schedules during the week. Another resident of Enugu, Mr. Sunday Ejike, said the Biafra Day should become a public holiday in the southeast region. Meanwhile, in Owerri, a similar situation also held sway as business centers, schools and government offices were shut in compliance with the sit-at-home directive. This came despite an earlier directive from the Imo State Police Command urging the residents to disregard the sit-at-home order and go about their normal business activities. Well, Mr. Godwin, let's go back to the reason for this sit-at-home that has been on in the east, the southeast for a period of time now, you know, and then going back to May 30, sit-at-home that was marked in the southeast, the Enugu and Imo that were actually pointed out in this. There were directives from the police that most of the residents of the states should not be, you know, afraid, but rather go about their daily businesses. But some have came out to say that out of fear, we did not go about our daily businesses like the police directed. So it's more like a two-way situation where this resident
to some large extent, it's not all about the residents of the state alone. Remember, people traverse Nigeria, and you could go to other part of the country and road these states, right?
Okay.
And sometimes people do businesses. We have people that go to those states to do businesses. I want to ask, what is happening to Nigeria as a nation? What's happening to this country and its leadership vis-a-vis the government? I know it's about the state and the federal government. Are they telling us that Nigeria as a sovereign state with its territorial integrity, everything that we own or we are known for internationally, is government telling us that they are weak and incapacitated, that a section of the country will begin to do things that are completely alien or that are completely out of the powers, out of the constitutional provision of the state as a people? I think the government is not doing what it should do in the East, because you don't tell me that it is the government who has the powers to declare holidays as already gazetted in the constitution, our own as a people, the calendars we have, that we have days, for example now, the June 12th. Now, we have these holidays as a people in the country, and any other holidays that a section of the state or the country are trying to force people to is illegal. It shouldn't be allowed. Trust me. So I think the government has failed in that respect. And to think that they do these things and we have state governments or state governors in such states, we have political leaders in such states, we have the traditional institutions in such states, and they are not doing anything. And the people, the innocent, helpless residents are exposed to too much violence, too much attack, and too much all sorts of restrictions. And somebody cannot go about their businesses. It affects the local economy. It affects people, it impedes people freedom of movement as enshrined by Constitution. So I think the government is not doing enough. Remember that their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, has been incarcerated for years now, and the case has been going on and on, unending. And to me, I don't see much insight to when it will be decided. I think the government is failing in the East.
If we have to refer to why you're talking about the much authority that the government possesses, but when it comes to the East, it's not really reflecting on that aspect. If I may ask, is it that this agitators, this Biafra agitators, are actually stronger than the government? Is it that they're, because it's more like these residents are more afraid of them than the directives from the government?
Because the government does not guarantee their protection. Because the government, okay, you are aware, if the police, is, over time, it's always been in the news where you see attacks on security formation, military formation. You see where these boys, these non-state actors, go up with arms against state actors that has licensed, legalized, and constitutional firepower to contend or control or curb the excesses of these boys. And you see, sometimes they feel so helpless, and I begin to wonder, shouldn't the government do more there? We have states where you require much military presence, much security presence, but they're not doing more. Remember that it's a two-pronged thing. The citizens are either afraid of the Biafran agitators or the security men.
But from the action that the residents actually took, he could literally tell you on what parts of the fear the residents lies on.
Some have said that if they go out, it's either the boys, the Biafran boys, who attack them and violate them, or the security who accuse them of being IPOB members or agitators, and they are either at the mercy of the boss or the security. So the security is not even giving confidence to the residents. And how many policemen do you have on every street? How many policemen do you have on major centers? So they see. So I think the boys have upper hand because they know the terrain. It will take long if somebody wants to open their shops now, or they want to go about any functions, and the boys want to unleash mayhem on such congregation, such gathering. It takes longer time before the security can intervene to rescuing or restoring order. So I think the citizens have their fear more on the Biafran agitators than the security. So
if we have to refer to that, I kept asking the question, is that they're higher than the government, or they have more stronger hands, or more sponsors, or they acquire more stronger equipment, more stronger arms in order to unleash this mayhem on the people? Or there's just something that the security operatives of these states are afraid of, where when the situation like this arises, they just want to lay back or not literally get to, hit the situation head on?
Obviously, you can see that the government is not decisive enough on clamping down on these agitators. And if you ask me, there's no way you could undermine the territorial integrity or the sovereign powers of a state. Trust me, the agitators cannot overpower or have arms more than the government. But I think is this complacency. I think the government has not been decisive enough, And there is lack of with the political power, the political will to actually enforcing, because it's absurd. Look at it, it's absurd. It's absurd. It's absurd. These people are not like the guerrilla warfare with the banditry, Fulani herdsmen, and Boko Haram. These are an enclave that you can easily be curtailed, but they're not doing it. So they don't have the capacity. They're incapacitated. Or they're not showing the required commitment to actually contending with these agitators.
So Mr. Godwin, from what you've explained now, does that mean there's not going to be no end to this?
I don't see it. I don't see it. Because the government is not being decisive enough, and the government is not even giving the required attention to the issues of the Biafra.
And then, in essence, most of the economic situation is affected. Like we stated here, some banks were closed. Some commercial businesses were all closed down. So imagine how the economy of the states will be affected, the life of these people, and the education, because schools are also closed on this on any of these days that they observe the sit-at-home order.
I said that earlier. I even mentioned the word local economy. Remember, people make their daily livings from business transactions. Banks are shut down. No socio-economic events or activities, and schools are also shut down. So you see, you can imagine the gravity, the extent at which this singular incessant force, that is overbearing influence that these agitators have on the East. Imagine how it affects the people. And sometimes I want to ask, are they actually for the people? What do they want? If they want Biafra, it should be a people's thing, not what will affect people's daily livings, affect schools, affect economic activities in the area. I think, if you ask me, I don't know what they want, but a whole lot, the people, all hands have to be on the people of the East, like the leadership, both political, both religious, both traditional institutions, have to really come down to actually asking what are the issues. Because to me, this thing doesn't really make any sense.
I would have actually gone into that more deeper, because referring to when you say you don't know what they want, we know where those origin of this whole situation has come up. But Odumegwu, God bless his soul, before his demise, he actually said that is okay. Who could be more Biafran than Ojukwu? The man who actually held sway to hold Nigeria for 3 whole years in civil war, civil unrest, like contending with the sovereign state of Nigeria. And it went on for 3 whole years. And this man had come to say that there is no need for that anymore.